Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today I've got a story time that was sent in to me about this crazy Minecraft kid that stole this person's phone, and I knew I had to share it with you because that's an absolute banger. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so like I said, a subscriber sent this in to me, and all they said at the top of the message was that, Minecraft kid stole my phone, and immediately I was interested, alright? Because Minecraft kid in the title tends to bang for me, and on top of that, it's always weird to me when people steal a phone, right? Like, I guess I could understand stealing the new iPhone or whatever, like, I still don't really get it. But to me, stealing someone's phone is just bizarre, because chances are you have your own phone, and like, now you just hold this thing with all their memories on it. Are you really the type of person to delete all that and just go sell it? Maybe you are. Hey, I'm not here to tell you that you shouldn't do that. I'm just saying that's not my vibe. Anyways, basically the person who sent this in to me volunteers to tutor some middle schoolers every week so that way he can say he did community service and put it on his college application. I'm sure he tells them that he does it because education or whatever, but he was very honest with me about yeah, I kind of do this so that way I can put it on my application, and usually it's not too bad. However, in this particular tutor group, there was one insanely spoiled kid who just literally never listened, made it way harder to do his job as the tutor. And on top of that, it was especially annoying because it's not like he's getting paid to deal with this, right? It's one thing, I'm sure, if you're a babysitter or whatever and you're at least getting the bag to deal with something difficult. But he was just really having to tell Minecraft kid to stop screaming for literally free. I'm not even sure why this kid came to tutoring in the first place, but he would literally show up and the entire time sit there and play Minecraft on his iPad. He wouldn't pay attention to what anyone said. He wouldn't do any other practice problems. He wouldn't talk to them about school. It was almost like his parents were just using this tutoring as a free babysitting service. They were like, yeah, you don't really have to do what they tell you to do there as long as they watch you. And he would literally just sit there and play games the entire time. And regardless of whether or not he paid attention, every week without a fail, at tutoring, Minecraft kid would be there just loudly playing Minecraft on an iPad. And what's really crazy about that to me is Minecraft is probably one of those games that you literally can play silently, you don't have to make a peep. But somehow this kid in his infinite wisdom would show up to tutoring, not pay any attention, interrupt the class because he's playing Minecraft and just be screaming at it. Every now and then, probably every 10 minutes or so, he would just scream something out loud at the game, no matter what it was, Sometimes it's creeper. Sometimes it's oh my god, I found diamonds. But either way, whenever you're trying to teach a bunch of people math and then you have one kid in the corner screaming about diamonds and creepers, it puts a damper on the whole thing. Listen, man, no tutor has the ability to make math look more interesting than Minecraft. That's just a hard sell. So, if you don't want to be at tutoring, that's fair, but don't come here with your iPad and interrupt it for everybody else and make everybody's life harder when they're volunteering their time to try to help. Anyways, all these other kids are kind of annoyed with it, distracted but annoyed with it because they're volunteering there after school time to be at tutoring to try to get their grades up. It's not like anyone likes being at school longer than they have to be. I highly doubt anyone's hyped to be at tutoring, but on top of not being hyped to be at tutoring, you just have some kids screaming and you're sitting there I'm just trying to study some pre-algebra, man. Can you calm down? Anyways, the subscriber that sent this to me and Minecraft kid didn't really get along because he had a problem with anyone who told him to do anything. So he would scream, tell him to get off the iPad or whatever, and the kid's response would be screaming. He would tell him to get off the iPad and do some work, and he would be like, you're an idiot. I don't have to listen to anything you say. And so they just kind of didn't really get along because the kid didn't have the ability to respectfully disagree with anyone. This spoiled kid, someone would tell him something reasonable. Like I said, the subscriber would say something like, hey, please get off the iPad and focus. And instead of just being no sir, I prefer to just play the iPad, I don't really need tutoring in this subject, he would take it as a challenge, an insult. To me, someone saying, hey, please get off the iPad and focus isn't an insult. It's not them challenging to fight you, right? It's not the 1800s where you and your homeboy are shall we duel? Go out into the backyard, take 20 paces and kill one. It's a pretty reasonable request to be hey, can you stop screaming at Minecraft? But Minecraft kid's response would be you're not my dad, I don't have to listen to you, you absolute moron. I don't know who you think you are to tell me what I can and can't do, but it's not school anymore and you're not a teacher, so I don't actually have to listen to anything you say, you absolute idiot. Which, to me, is kind of ballsy to be calling people stupid that much when, like, you know, all these arguments are taking place in tutoring. I'm not sitting here and saying there's anything wrong with that. You know, if you don't understand a subject, it's probably the best way to understand it. If you want to get your grades up, probably an effective way to do it. That being said, I feel like you've got to have a little bit of self-awareness to realize that calling the person teaching you stuff stupid is a little bit ironic, right? You're an absolute buffoon, an idiot. It's like you're the person who shows up every week to learn stuff from me. You know, if you really think I'm that stupid, then that also means you're stupid for listening to me. Because smart people don't let stupid people teach them. Am I wrong? To me, this is the equivalent of being like, you know, I'm going to learn about the stock market and then calling Warren Buffett an idiot because you watched Wolf of Wall Street one time, you know? Regardless, those were the type of arguments they would get into. So the subscriber who sent this to me in Minecraft Kid already didn't really get along before any of the phone stealing went down. Anyways, on this particular day, the tutor, the subscriber, was sitting at a table with a couple of kids. One of them happened to be Minecraft Kid, and one of the teachers in charge of tutoring ended up calling him away. So he left his phone and his, like, you know, paper on the desk because he figured he'd be right back. And obviously, in that situation, you're not thinking anyone would be, like, dumb enough to steal your phone because you're gonna figure out who did it. You're kind of like, you're not a teacher, but you're in charge, I guess. So whatever, you should be able to leave your phone for a minute. And he's gone for about 3 minutes just talking to another teacher, like I said. And he comes back and he's like, well, that's weird. My phone is no longer on the table. You know, I swear that I left it right here. It's not in my pocket. It's not over there. My phone's missing. And you know, he hasn't even said anything to everybody at the table yet, but he can just tell by the looks on their faces that they look like they've been up to no good. You know, they're looking a little bit guilty. And so immediately he decides to question them just a little bit, nothing too angry. All right, guys, very funny. You know, who took my phone? Good prank, good prank. Thinking it was a situation where, you know, somebody took his phone, was gonna hide it, and then, like, if he called him out, they would give it back. But instead of somebody being like, you know, you're right, here it is, everybody just kind of keeps looking guilty. So he presses them a little bit again. He's like, all right, guys, come on. I'm trying to be cool about this, but who took my phone? You know, don't make me get mad. And nobody fesses up again. And I don't know if it was a situation of, like, they're all in on it, if they just didn't want to be a snitch, if he said nobody say anything. But Minecraft Kid is smiling, and everybody else looks like they're not too thrilled with the situation. And at that point, the sub kind of realizes, the tutor, oh no, one of these kids is trying to steal my phone. None of them are saying anything. They're all looking like they're gonna keep my mouth shut. I actually don't know where it is. So he kind of starts to be, like, a little bit angrier about it. Well, nobody's leaving until I get my phone back, you know, and if you guys don't start telling me where it is in about 10 seconds, I'm gonna go get the teachers. Obviously, he's just like a little bit of an older kid volunteering, so he goes and gets the teachers because nobody says anything. And they come over and they're like, all right, guys, this isn't funny. Give him the phone. And nobody's fessing up still. Like, you would think at that point, you know, somebody would snitch. Usually whenever I would get in trouble at school, somebody was snitching and saying literally everything within 12 seconds. But none of these kids are saying a word. So the teacher and the tutor are kind of waiting for the parents to show up. And the parents show up, you know, and they kind of let the parents know what's happening. And once again, they tell the kids, they're like, all right, you guys need to hand over the phone. And all of the kids are saying that they don't have the phone. Obviously, they're gonna say that, you know, I don't think they were all involved in taking it, but, like, obviously, they're all going to deny having it. What do you think, they're stupid? Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm the one that took the phone. All of these problems that we've been talking about, that was my bad. They're in too deep now. Anyways, it gets to the point, though, where the parents are annoyed because they've been sitting here for 20 minutes waiting for him to get his phone, and all the kids are denying it. And obviously, they're not too happy about the, what was it, implication that their kid might be a thief. So they start to be like, maybe you just misplaced it. How do you know you didn't lose it? Why are you assuming that my kid stole it? So, whatever. After a while, it ends up being a situation where they can't, like, keep the kids here forever. The parents are starting to turn on them, not be on their side. So the teacher decides at that point that they're gonna have to let him go and they'll just figure it out later. And obviously the person who sent this in to me, tutor, is just pissed. They're like, this kid stole my phone and they're gonna get to leave. He doesn't want to let him go, but like I said, there's really nothing they can do since nobody's fessing up. They can't, like, keep everybody here in the school overnight until they find his phone. That's not really how this works. So whatever, he goes home and the first thing he does is hop on his iPad and check Find My iPhone. He figures if he lost it at the school, then it's gonna ping there and, it'll be obvious that he just misplaced it. If it doesn't ping, then that means somebody turned it off or like hacked into it, turned off Find My iPhone, so it got stolen. Or if it pings not at the school, then somebody took it. And sure enough, it pings not at the school. So it's obvious now that somebody took it. And it points to this like neighborhood relatively in the like vicinity of the school that he was at. But if you've ever tried to track, like, Find My iPhone without an AirTag or something specific, right, it doesn't really give you an exact location. It just gives you, like, you could probably narrow it down to, like, 3 or 4 houses. So it's not like he can go over there, knock on the door, and demand his phone back. But at the same time, he now knows that somebody stole it at that school, and he's just pissed because all the parents were trying to make him feel bad for accusing one of them of stealing it, and one of their kids did steal his phone. And at that point, like I said, it's just confirmed that his phone has been stolen. So he takes a screenshot of where it is and he emails it to the teacher that was helping him talk to the parents and is kind of like, look, here it is, it's not at the school, this is not my house, so somebody took it. And he just kind of starts emailing everything that he finds to the teacher just to make sure that there's record of it, right? He doesn't want anyone to think that he's just making this stuff up or whatever. He just wants track of it. My thing is, you would think someone who stole an iPhone would immediately like turn off the location, turn off iCloud, all that stuff. But for some reason, the person who had taken this hadn't turned off the location, and they also hadn't turned off the iCloud, and that's how this guy figured out that the person who stole his phone was actually the Minecraft kid. And he started figuring that out because the kid started using the phone. I guess when you're stealing people's phones in middle school, you don't think about turning off iCloud or like the location. He didn't have a passcode on his phone, which I personally think is a mistake. All right, you gotta have a passcode. That way, if some Minecraft kid steals your phone, he can't get into it so easily. But regardless, because the phone was unlocked, instead of like resetting it, turning it off, any of that, Minecraft kid just started using it as his own little personal device. That's hilarious to me, dude. You'd think by middle school you would at least be smart enough to realize that, like, I don't know, stealing someone's phone and using it like your own is going to backfire. But over the course of, like, the next couple hours, the camera roll slowly fills up with, like, selfies of the Minecraft kid. He's got his iCloud linked, so, like, all the photos sync up. Selfies of him, pictures of his dog. He's screenshotting memes, basically just incriminating himself as the person who is 100% on his iPhone, because on his iPad, everything is popping up. So it's 100% him. And along with that, dude starts coming in screenshots of like his Minecraft world that he had started working on, diamonds he found, obnoxious memes. And the everything that he's like getting on his iCloud, he's screenshotting, adding to that email chain so that way he has all the proof. And he's getting more and more pissed off as he's watching this, because the kid is literally like screenshotting YouTube videos, playing Minecraft on his phone that he stole. So whatever, the next day he gets an email back from the teacher who is kind of like, wow, all right, give me a second to look at this. He had sent a bunch of different emails with evidence in it. So the teacher takes a little bit to look at everything and they're emailing back at forth, and at first the teacher doesn't want to admit that the kid stole it. They're like, well, I don't know, maybe something is up here, like maybe there's just a glitch or something. But as they continue to look through the emails and more of the evidence starts to add up, they come to the obvious conclusion, which is obviously this kid had something to do with stealing the iPhone. But the teacher, does the very bizarre request of asking if it's okay that they get his phone back during the next tutoring session. And those were once a week. Obviously, it had been pretty close to when all this is going down. He didn't want to wait a week to not have his phone. But the teacher that he's emailing back and forth with is pretty insistent. No, trust me. If we can just wait till the next tutoring session, I'd really appreciate it. The timing would just work out better. And obviously, the subscriber who sent this in is like, no, I want my phone back today. Like, I know this kid stole it. I'm not going to let him just keep using my phone. But the teacher says that she doesn't want to involve the administration because, if there's all this drama and all this trouble about this tutoring group, they'll probably just get rid of it. And she doesn't want to get rid of the tutoring for all the kids just because this one kid stole a phone. And so he's kind of like, all right, fair enough, fine. I really don't want to. I really don't want to, but I will wait. Honestly, I probably would have just demanded I get it back that day. Call me horrible for that, dude, but I would have wanted my phone back right away. I'm not about to just let him be running around with my phone for a week. On the bright side, it would give you more time to collect in a bunch of evidence, but I want my phone back. What am I supposed supposed to do? Be walking around with an iPad in my pocket? Like, if this guy is using his iPad to gather evidence, dude, is he really walking around? Oh, hey, I gotta text my mom back. Pulls off his backpack and, like, you know what I mean? Has to whip the iPad out of the laptop sleeve to text somebody back real quick. No, thank you, dude. I would prefer not to wait for my stuff back. I don't care that the kid would get in trouble for it. That's kind of the whole point. He stole my phone. I don't feel bad about that. Anyways, like I said, somehow he gets talked into waiting until the end of the week, so that's what he does. However, tutoring day comes and, you know, he's ready to rock and roll. He wants his phone back, as any of us would. He's not about to just let Minecraft kids steal his phone and run away with it into, you know, the wilderness, never to be seen again. Gonna have to cop himself a new device. No, thank you. He's trying to get that thing back, bro. New iPhones ain't cheap. Anyways, the entire tutoring session, he's just kind of giving him dirty looks. And then finally, after the tutoring session, the teacher pulls Minecraft Kid aside and the subscriber, and they kind of confront him with this information. You know, they're like, look, you need to give him the phone back now. You know, if you don't, we're going to get your parents involved. I'm going to assume that you don't want that to happen. So if you want this to stay between us and your parents not to get involved, then this is your one chance to give us the phone and you can just avoid the rest of this. And I'm gonna say, bro, this kid had to have been spoiled, because instead of deciding that that was the point to, you know, give the phone back, he decides to have just, like, go ahead and deny the entire thing, which in my mind means he has to think his parents are crazy enough to back him up here, right? Like, everybody knows he took it. They have selfies of him, screenshots of his Minecraft world, and even then, this is your one chance to, you know, give us the phone and just avoid getting in trouble. I don't have your phone. I don't know what to talk about. So, whatever. They're kind of in shock that he denies it, simply because they thought the evidence that they had was, like, immensely overwhelming, which it was. But once again, the kid just kind of denies it and they don't know what to do. So the teacher and the subscriber start to be like, come on, man, really look at the evidence here. Come on, look at it and tell me that you're gonna stick to denial. And he pulls out his iPad and starts to be like, here's selfies that you took on the device. Here's screenshots of your Minecraft world. Here's a picture of your dog. Like, here's all these things that ended up on this iPad because it's linked to that phone. We know you have the phone, just admit it. And now he starts to twist it, dude. He's like, no, actually, you took those photos from Instagram and that's not my Minecraft world. You just Googled Minecraft world and took the first screenshot. You've always hated me. You're just trying to get me in trouble. And so they start trying to, like, have an argument, you know, and finally the subscriber thinks of something and he says, all right, you said that you don't have it, right? And he's like, yes, I didn't steal your phone. So if I track it right now, it won't be at the school because it wasn't earlier. So unless you brought it back, you know, why would it still be here? Everyone else is gone. And at that point, the kid's eyes get all wide. He pulls out the iPad, pulls up Find My Phone, and sure enough, the device is back at the school. So at that point, it's obvious that he literally has it on him. You know, how else is the phone back at the school? Tutoring is after school, so if there was a bunch of, like, other kids that had stolen his phone, they wouldn't be here unless they were also a part of the group. On top of it, you know, what are the odds that somebody else in tutoring steals his phone, takes a bunch of screenshots of him that he knows are going to go to the iPad's iCloud account? Those photos are going to get checked so that way he can frame him for stealing the phone. He just wants his phone back, you know, so even if you frame him and he doesn't have the phone, it doesn't actually get you out of trouble. And at that point, he realizes he's in too deep and just decides to keep playing dumb, pretending that there's nothing he knows about the magic phone. And at that point, his dad is pretty close to getting him. So they're like, all right, dude, well, we're going to talk to your parent when he gets here, you know, and we're going to let him know everything, just so you know. And the kid kind of seems confident that he's going to get out of it. Whatever, the dad comes in to pick up his kid, and the teacher and the subscriber go to tell him everything that happened. And they're explaining everything, and it's immediately obvious just based off this dad's body language that he is pissed about what he's hearing about. And not at the kid, but in a defensive way. He keeps wanting to interrupt, you know, his arms are all folded, and so they finally get to the end of the story, and they're like, and that's where we're at, you know, we need you to do this. They hadn't shown him the iPad pictures or anything, they just said, we know your son has the phone. And the dad just starts to go on this rant, my son would never steal anything, especially a phone. You're accusing him of something he 100% didn't do, and I can't believe this. He's supposed to come to tutoring to learn. I didn't realize that when I was bringing him here, you were just gonna try to like accuse him of taking stuff that you were irresponsible and lost. And obviously the subscriber's getting more and more annoyed because everybody just keeps being like, you made this up. And he's like, your kid literally has my phone. So whatever, he looks at the dad after his rant and says, so if I showed you evidence that proved that your son has my phone, would you believe me? And the dad's like, yeah, sure, I would believe it, but there's no way that he stole your phone. I just don't believe it. My son isn't a thief. You can't go around accusing people of things like that. I'll have you know that I know a lawyer. Like, okay, cool, bro. You know a lawyer? You don't even have a lawyer. You just know one? Awesome. If I bump carts with a dude in the like grocery store who happens to be a lawyer, I can say that too. Anyways, the subscriber whips out his iPad, shows him all the evidence, kind of explains how it works in terms of like, you know, it's linked to that phone, all the photos on that phone go here. That's why I know that he has the phone, because he took pictures on the phone that he stole. Super smart criminal move, right? I think the best way to go about incriminating yourself is to do it with a really dope selfie, you know, maybe with a cool background, some train tracks or something, just to show everyone you mean business. Regardless, the dad kind of looks at the evidence and, unlike the kid, realizes, ah, crap, my kid definitely stole the phone. But instead of admitting that he stole the phone, the dad switches his tune, which, you know, I'll give him credit for at least coming to terms with the fact that the kid had the phone, but he goes into denial in a way that might be even stupider, and basically the equivalent of when an ostrich just throws his head into the sand as hard as humanly possible in order to avoid confronting the truth. Alright guys, I'm gonna interrupt the video for a second. I'm sorry. For the next couple days, if you're watching this on the date it's coming out, which is the 26th of January, code SCRUBBY at the G Fuel store is gonna be 30% off. Yeah, that's right. So head on over to gfuel.com, pick yourself up some G Fuel. I would very much appreciate it, and use code SCRUBBY. And on that note, let's get back to the video. Anyways, the dad's new theory is, well, there had to have been a misunderstanding. You see, there's no way my child would steal your phone. Something had to have confused him, you know, and led to him saying or thinking that he could take the phone. So, you know, something must to have confused him. There's no way my child would steal it. And at that point, he decides to do arguably the stupidest thing you could do in this situation. He looks at the subscriber, who, keep in mind, is the person who has just had their phone stolen from them by this kid, and says, did you tell him that he could take it or something? Like, did you tell my son that he was allowed to take your phone? No, obviously not, you idiot. Like, what type of stupid question is that? You know, he doesn't even have to answer for that, like, answer to be obvious. No one should have to say anything for the answer to that question to, like, make very, very clear sense to you. Let's put this in perspective, bro. This guy, this random dude, told your kid to steal his phone and take it home, right? And then after he told your son to steal his phone, he got really, really mad about it. And instead of asking for his phone back or anything, decided to accuse him of stealing it, planted a bunch of evidence that would make your son look like he stole it, and then waited a week to pull you aside and get your kid in trouble. Yeah, man, makes total sense, dude. Makes total sense to me. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like on a daily basis I end up running into somebody trying to hand out a $1,000 iPhone. Like, no, man, it's not Halloween. I won't take your free technology. Ugh, aren't those people the worst? Those people running around. Take a phone, take a phone. Does he think Mr. Beast is his kid's tutor, dude? Like, I just really don't understand why in the world you would think that somebody would just be walking around handing out expensive pieces of technology for no reason. Especially then getting mad about it. Like, you'd think that person would be probably one of the most generous people to ever exist. In my mind, this is like equally as dumb as those people every Halloween, you know? Make sure people aren't handing edibles out to your kids. People are trying to drug your kids. No one's giving edibles to your kid, bro. I promise you. Like, I really do promise you, nobody's sitting there looking at their edibles. I'm gonna give this out for Halloween. No one's doing that for free. Oh, did you tell your kid to steal my phone? Like, obviously not. Anyways, though, the subscriber at that point is like, no, I did not tell your kid to take my phone. Regardless of whether or not you think he's capable of stealing or whatever, can you just make him give it back to me? At this point, I don't care. I just want my phone back. Which, fair enough, you know, like, I'm sure at this point the frustration, I mean, I'm not even the person who got my phone stolen and I'm frustrated. So in order to keep his cool, I'm sure he's just like, give me the phone before I become a volcano and just end up going crazy. Anyways, the dad at that point, though, just isn't going to let it slide. He's like, look, whatever. Whether or not you think your son stole doesn't matter. Just get my phone back. Well, I don't want to accuse my son of being a thief. So if we're going to make him give the phone back, then I want to go under the guise that it was an accident. I'm not going to accuse him of stealing anything. Do you understand? Are you mature enough to handle that? And at that point, like I said, he just ends up losing it. He's not able to hold it together. But let's be honest, that level of condescension, can you handle that? So his response is just, well, I can handle that if you can handle the fact that your child is a thief that stole my phone. Now, how about you be an adult? I know that's very difficult for you. It seems hard. And go over there and tell your kid to give back the phone that he stole, okay? Hey, all in all, pretty snappy response. Fair enough, dude. Like, I would have lost it a lot sooner. The fact that he made it this long, I'm gonna have to give him credit for having the patience of, I don't know, something with a lot of patience. Anyways, the dad's reply, my son is not a thief. And at that point, the kid walks around the corner. He'd probably been standing there for a while listening to the conversation, I'll be honest, you know, just kind of making sure that things didn't get out of control. Anyways, he walks around the corner and he's looking a little sheepish, you know, like he's up to no good, and he just so happens to have magically found the device, right? He comes around the corner and he says, hey, I just found this phone randomly in the lunchroom. I don't know, it was on the floor. Is it yours? Yeah, that's right. Suddenly the phone reappeared. It'd just been sitting on the floor of the lunchroom for a week. People have been going to and from school using the lunchroom. Nobody else picked it up. Nope, it magically did not move for a week being on the floor. Yeah, sure, whatever though, he's getting his phone back, I guess, right? But the dad just won't let it slide. At that point, he decides to believe that stupid story. See, he didn't steal it. You were just irresponsible and left your phone at the table for a week. See, you need to apologize to my son for insinuating that he would ever steal. That's not the type of person he is. The fact that you would play off your irresponsibility to be my son's fault is truly disgusting, you know. Dude, how are you believing this story and an adult? Like, you think the phone really sat on the floor of the lunchroom for a week and nobody else saw it until now? I think your kid was smart enough to be spying on this conversation, realized he's screwed, and that his dad was about to look really, really stupid and get mad at him too. Not only is he in trouble for stealing the phone, dad's gonna be mad at embarrassing him too. Magically, the phone appears. Oh my goodness. Call me crazy, I can't confirm that's what happened. I've just got a very strong inkling that's probably what happened. But whatever, like I said, the subscriber at that point is just relieved to see his phone, so he walks over to the kid and he says, you know, thank you for finding the phone that you stole from me, dude. I really appreciate it. Sure, absolutely a petty comment, but I don't know. I think in this situation, any of us would be being petty, dude. Sometimes people on the internet, my goodness, I would not act this way if someone stole my device. Yeah, you say that, bro, until someone steals your phone and then tries to be like, oh, I found this. You'd be like, yeah, thanks for giving me the stuff you stole back. I guarantee you'd be a little petty too. Anyways, the dad, though, is gonna not let that slide and jumps in and is like, he did not steal it. You have absolutely no proof that he stole it. You just can't roll around telling people that they're a thief with no proof, forgetting the fact that, you know, this kid had literally been taking selfies on the phone that are getting sent to the iPad for the week. Yeah, no proof. In fact, you're such an idiot that I refuse to bring my son back for tutoring as long as you are here. You just seem so irresponsible. I don't know what type of parent would feel like their kid's education is in good hands if you're the person tutoring them. And he cuts the dad off. At this point, he knows it's like, it's just angry, who cares? And he says, go ahead and not bring your son back to tutoring. He never pays attention anyways. You might as well keep him home and let him play Minecraft there. At least that way you wouldn't have to come drive and pick him up. He's not learning anything here. Which, once again, pretty funny. He didn't even call the kid stupid, all right? He didn't say your kid's a moron. He just said he doesn't pay attention at tutoring, all right? I feel like that's an important distinction. He could have called your kid a moron, but he didn't. You gotta give him credit where credit is due. Anyways, the dad at that point is like, that's it. I'm filing a complaint with the principal. You will be taken off of tutoring, you know. Consider your job gone. And he looks at him and he goes, you're an absolute moron. I volunteer. What are you gonna do? Get me fired from the job that I don't get paid for? Oh, I love that, dude. I'm gonna get you fired. All right, dude. I don't work here. Go ahead. Get me fired from the school that I don't work at. Feel free. Obviously, this was kind of part of his plan to have something to like put on his college application, so he didn't want to get kicked out, right? But at the same time, it's like not a job. There's only a certain amount of disrespect you're gonna take for a job, let alone something that you're not getting paid for. What are they gonna do? Not make him volunteer his time? Oh no, what a punishment. You don't have to come in and tutor kids once a week and they won't steal your phone. Anyways, the teacher, who up to this point has already kind of been a slimeball, being like, no, don't get your phone back now. Don't tell the administration. Don't say anything like that. They interject and they're like, yeah, I actually think it's probably best if you don't tutor here anymore anyways. And the dad's like, see, look it, your attitude and behavior got you kicked out of here, you know. Whatever, he gets the phone back and he's like, all right, are you really gonna make me not able to tutor here anymore because I'm angry about somebody stealing the phone? And the teacher's like, yes, I think it's just best if you don't tutor here. I mean, come on, dude. You can't be mad at the person for being mad that somebody stole something from them. Like, I don't know. I understand why they might have to. But to me, it's like, do you really have to give the dad the satisfaction of feeling like he got this kid fired? I don't know. You didn't really have to give him that big of a W. At that point, though, the subscriber really had nothing to lose. So he looked at the dad, he looked at the teacher, said they could both kiss where the sun don't shine, and flipped them off and left. Fair enough, whatever. What are they gonna do? Take away your volunteer time? Anyways, all in all, they don't really regret quitting or getting fired, whatever you would call it, because they don't really have to deal with that anymore. So I don't know if it's a W, but he got his phone back and doesn't have to deal with that anymore, so kind of a W. My question in all of this is like, why Minecraft Kid even felt like stealing a phone in the first place if he literally had an iPad with him all the time? Like, it just seems like a little bit too much overlap there, you know? Oh, I'm gonna play Minecraft on my phone and my iPad. That way I can have two worlds going at once, and everyone knows that all Minecraft pros can have two games going at one time. Anyways, I guess moral of the story is don't steal people's phones, you know? Just don't do it. It's not swag, and if someone's gonna steal your phone, I don't know, make sure the person backing you up isn't gonna get mad at you for being angry about stuff being stolen from you. But, yeah, if you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate you taking a second to press the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comment section down below, what you thought, and of course, subscribe and turn on notifications. If you don't know what to comment, just go ahead and comment Minecraft down below. It helps the video do better, hit recommended, all that good stuff. I'd appreciate it. I will go ahead and put the intro song in a link down below, along with the link to my podcast, The Scuffed Cast, or like I said, use code SCRUBBY for 30% off G Fuel. The last link in the description is going to be a link to the merch store, so feel free to go over there, pick out a t-shirt. I'd very much appreciate it. And yeah, on that note, that'll really do it. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.